G'day mate, this is Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media here, and the Australian government continues to prove itself to be authoritarian and Orwellian. Once a giant prison island, it is living up to its reputation with a recent bill introduced pushing for a 10-year prison sentence for those who do not hand over their phone password to quote-unquote authorities. As this RT article says, you could soon spend 10 years in Australian jail if you don't hand over your phone password to cops. And as the article goes into, new Australian bill introduces some of the toughest legislation anywhere in the world for refusing to hand over personal data, while other Western countries are scrambling for their own solutions. Existing legislation already allows for imprisonment for up to 2 years for failing to give investigators access when serious crime is involved. But the new Assistance in Access bill, which has gone out for public consultation before being voted on later on this year, raises the punishment to 10 years. The Department of Home Affairs say the document is seeking a reasonable and proportionate response to such violations. And I quote, "Encryption and other forms of electronic protection are being employed by terrorists, child sex offenders, and criminal organizations to mask illegal conduct. The exploitation of modern communications technology for illicit ends is a significant obstacle to the lawful access of communications by Australia's law enforcement and national security agencies," says its intro. To give weight to its proposal, the ministry gives an example of a pedophile rapist who was using mobile messengers to offer drugs to underage teens in exchange for sex. The suspect was arrested and his mobile phone was seized, but despite legislative requirements, he refused to provide his passcode. Due to an inability to access his phone, as well as the fact that he used encrypted communication methods, such as Snapchat and Facebook Messenger, Victoria Police was unable to access evidence which would have enabled them to secure a successful prosecution and identify further victims and offenses, goes the case study. The US has no standard practice for such scenarios, and there has been legal debate whether such requests from the police, with or without a warrant, are a violation of constitutional rights. A Florida man was jailed for 6 months for contempt of court in July for failing to open his phone communication after a suspected drug arrest. The UK has also used contempt of court for similar instances, but the sentences have usually been measured in months, not years. Of course, the excuse is the most dramatic, abhorrent example, pedophilia. But we should know by now that the majority of uses for such a law would regard individuals committing a victimless crime and then being searched and having their data and the data of individuals they interact with exposed to the state henchmen. Say Australian authorities busted you for cannabis. Then they take your phone, go through all of your private conversations, and then bust your dealer. They then arrest your dealer and go through their private conversations and then arrest all of the dealer's customers. Laws in Australia are extraordinarily harsh. You can get a lengthy prison sentence simply for bringing your dog into the country undeclared. The land of weird, giant, muscular mice people and formerly half dog, half zebra leopard creatures is worried about your poodle enough that they will imprison you, or do as Johnny Depp did and make a half-hearted public apology. We have lots of great followers in Australia, and we hear about the insanity piling up in the country all the time. The state spends so much time trying to lock people up for victimless crimes that it ignores the fact that the heavily manipulated housing markets in Sydney and Perth are extremely bubbled and that their economy is in a state of disrepair. Perhaps this new proposed law will play right into their attempts to create a cashless society, a social credit score like the Chinese. Australia is attempting to demonetize right now their centrally planned cashless system, and their technocratic agenda is getting more clear by the day. Look at the facial recognition passports springing up. Malcolm Turnbull, Australia's Prime Minister, all the while is dealing with a potential leadership revolt at the same time. It's worth pointing out that this attempt to monitor people's private data on their phone at gunpoint is kind of like preemptively recording all individuals before they commit any sort of crime, and then using those private recordings as examples. Private conversations previous to said crime are just that, private. Now, it should be said that there's no expectation of privacy on something like Facebook, even Snapchat. These government-subsidized major corporations are sure to share data with the state, but the point remains the same. Individuals conversing before said crime occurs should not be recorded or stolen from that individual, creating a domino effect of arrests. That is obviously wrong. In the United States, they are already taking a lot of people's phones away at the border to check for cryptocurrencies. This has been going on for most of the last year. And you think that's bad? Britain is overflowing with crazy nanny state, police state laws. But of course, we'd be crazy to believe this isn't already happening on a vast scale. The state is spying on all of our phones, keeping records. However, they currently cannot use most of the data in court. So this is just a way to get around current laws and criminalize innocent individuals under the guise of catching the small, few terrible people they mention in the article. This madness will continue. Individuals must stand up or kneel on their knees for eternity. The organized crime racket we call government is attempting to make criminals of all of us. Ironic, isn't it? We need to build alternatives. We need to decentralize. We need to stand up for our individual liberties because it's our responsibility to stand for freedom. No one will stand for us when they come for us if we do nothing today. Call out this police state madness. Don't let it grow further and encroach on your liberties. Humans are not meant to be caged animals. We are free. We already live in an anarchist society. So many of us just believe blindly in this organized crime cartel going around stealing people's money, spending it on inefficient infrastructure without the need for individual demand, all while coercing and abusing us. Rule yourself, folks. Thanks for watching, and until next time, play that didgeridoo, don't allow dingoes to eat your babies, flush the toilet backwards, and defend your freedoms down under. Stay tuned for more from Wham! This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here at Wham! Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, we can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so overwhelmingly demonetized by YouTube as they bring in the ADL to flag all of our content as hate speech. Also check our Bitcoin address in the description as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also check us out at STEEMIT at Josh Sigurdson, the future of social media, where you get paid in the upvote of your post in cryptocurrency, Steem that is. So don't forget to check us out there and find us at Anarchapulco 2019. I know it's early, but this is such an exciting event coming up with Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, David Icke, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, all the usual characters, and it's going to be amazing. So we hope to see you there. Make sure to check the link for Anarchapulco below and use promo code WHAM to save as much as 15% on your tickets. We hope to see you there. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.